Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the Sunday League Pundit Show. We would like to start this week by giving our condolences and our thoughts to the friends and family of Sven-Goran Eriksson, who passed away this week, and ex-Leeds captain Sol Bamba, who died aged 39, which is, as we've just been discussing, younger than all three of us. It's shocking news, sad times, and it's not something that we want to hear. So our thoughts go out to the friends and family of Sven-Goran Eriksson and Sol Bamba. Just a quick break in play to let you good people know that we have some good news with our partnership with Dubby.gg.
Was 10%. It's not anymore. It's 20%. So 20%. Get yourself to the checkout and enter the code Sunday, SUNDAY.
That's it, Sunday at checkout, and enjoy 20% off. Hello and welcome to episode 45 Sunday League Pundit Show. You've got myself, Stretch, and my very good friend on camera, JimJam, and the absolute melt in the corner that supports Leeds United, Tin Ribs. How are we, gentlemen?
All right.
I would like to know something. Do we have a JimJam, the Statman stat?
Yes. So obviously last week you said that I've got to do two stats because you didn't do one last
He
week.
listened.
Indeed I do. So last week's stat was actually going to be, because it's still applicable now. So Ben Diaz is on a losing streak where if he didn't win a game, he would equal a Premier League record, which he managed to do against Brentford. So it's now 17 games without a win.
That's a lot, isn't it?
I mean, on the other side, Saints are on a 16 Premier League run without a win as well.
Sad times for Saints, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's last week's stat that goes in. So as we're currently watching Man United Liverpool, that's currently 2-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool are the only team not to concede a goal yet across all four leagues. And there's also one team that has not scored yet. Because last week it was like Stockport, Tranmere and Sunderland that hadn't, but they all conceded this week. So it's Morecambe are the unlucky team not to score a goal. Morecambe
are the only team left that haven't scored?
Yes.
That's rough, that.
Sorry, Morecambe. It's 3-0 now.
It's 3-0 now. Mo Salah's just scored.
Yeah.
I would like to start a debate / argument / calling me again online. Is Haaland as good as he's made out to be? Now, his record currently in the Premier League is played 69, scored 70. However, he's never scored in a semi-final. He's never scored in a final. And he struggles against the big teams, i.e. Arsenal. He doesn't score against us. Is he that great? Because as soon as he comes up against a good defender, he struggles.
Well, he has scored against Arsenal.
Yeah, but
because he scored against every team he's faced.
Yeah, but how many? This is the point.
Yeah.
He hasn't scored against us in the last 3 games.
Because the Premier League come on with this stupid stat because Harry Kane scored against every team he's faced, which is 32. And Haaland is now 23, and they're like, oh, Haaland's closing in on the record. And I'm like, he's not going to break that record because he's probably going to leave Man City 115 before he's got even the chance to equal his record, because what that's relying on is 3 teams to get promoted every year that he's never faced before in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. So it's just not going to happen. So Harry Kane's 32 goals or whatever is insane. I mean, to score against every team that you faced, because then some comments go, oh, Mo Salah should be on that. He scored against every team he's faced, but he actually hasn't, because he never scored against Swansea in the Premier League when he was playing for Chelsea. So that's why he's not on that list. Just for those Liverpool fans that rave about Mo Salah, that's the team he did not score against.
Yeah, but there's Liverpool fans that rave about Alexander-Arnold as a right back and he can't defend. So this is why we've got our thing with Liverpool fans. And to be honest, after the video Tin Ribs sent me, I'm sort of swaying his sort of way on Everton fans as well.
Thank you.
Because that was absolutely disgusting.
I know, yeah.
When they were all at the train
I saw
station
that,
and
yeah.
they were flicking the V's and very, very loudly. They got kids with them as well.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but at least they got some justice this week.
Oh, 2-0 up, lost 3-2.
Mate, I nearly pissed myself.
I feel sorry for people
and definitely
like...
choked on my drink.
I feel sorry for people like Craig, genuinely, because he's a genuine football fan that just wants his team to do well. He's not an a-hole, and he doesn't scream and shout at anybody. He just wants his teams to do well. Because obviously he supports Everton, but he follows Stafford because they're his local team. So it's fans like that I feel sorry for.
Yeah.
But them idiots that stand... It's like Chelsea, when that guy was pictured screaming in Raheem Sterling's face when he was still at City.
Yeah.
I put that picture of him screaming at Raheem, I put that everywhere, on every Chelsea site when they were saying how pleased they were that they'd signed him. And I'm like, are you all pleased, really? Because it doesn't look like it. That's probably a really good way of transitioning into the transfers, because now Raheem Sterling's actually at Arsenal.
You know, if I was here last week, I heard that, and this was before he was linked with Arsenal, I would have said that he would have suited Arsenal because I felt that is a better option than Martinelli.
As soon as Chelsea were like, we don't want Sterling, he's in the reserves, I thought we could do with him. He'd be all right at Arsenal. Because
I look at all the other teams up there, he's not going to get in at 115 FC. He's not going to get in at...
He'd potentially get in at Arsenal and Newcastle.
Yeah.
But the others, like even Tottenham, I don't think would play him because they're deluded about how great their players are. But I think he'd get in at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Maybe not starting, but he'd certainly get a good amount of game time rotationally.
Yeah.
And I think at Arsenal, he's going to get a decent amount of game time.
I think he had something different to Trossard. They're
100%.
completely different style of winger.
For me,
I think
Sterling
that can be brilliant.
Sterling is half Martinelli and half Trossard. Because he's got the pace and directness, but he also has that ability that Trossard has to cut in and get goals and create goals.
Yeah.
Martinelli seems to lack that at the moment. He did have it once. Seems to have deserted him a little bit at the moment. But yeah, we will definitely get into that Arsenal game, I can assure you.
And I think it gives you the option to rest Saka as well, having an additional winger.
He needs rest. We need to start resting Saka because he plays too much. So, let's get into some transfers. Shea Charles, 20, centre mid, Irish. Saints to Sheffield Wednesday on loan.
Good move for him because he struggled to get in last season. He was playing bit parts, but you could tell that he wasn't quite at the levels that we needed him to be at. He certainly isn't at Premier League level yet. He's come from Manchester City. He's a future star potentially, so being at Sheffield Wednesday, I should see him playing week in, week out, hopefully, and hopefully he comes back the better player.
Cool.
So I'm quite happy with that loan. I think absolutely the right move for him in his career.
Right. Owen Beck, Liverpool to Blackburn on loan, 22, left back, and he's Welsh. Do we know much about Owen Beck?
I don't know anything
Darryl
about
happy,
Owen
or
Beck.
does he not know one way or the other who it is?
Daryl's sending me all these players that are signed from half the time. I'm just going, who?
Okay, so we're on Blackburn now, so I don't know if you wrote it down. So I wrote Amorio, Cozier, Dewberry.
I haven't written
on
that one
loan.
down. I have got it on my list, but I haven't written it in the book.
So what can you tell me about him?
He ripped up the youths. Like the under
and which
18s.
youth was that?
Arsenal.
Exactly. That's why I specifically wrote that one down, because it was a Blackburn link, and I was like...
He smashed the under 18s.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as prolific in the under 23s, but still did fairly well. To be honest, if he's championship bound, I think he'll be really good. I think he'll be quite... So it might take him a little bit to get into it.
Yeah.
I think he'll be really good.
Yeah.
It'll be a very, very good signing.
And there's another Blackburn transfer as well, if you got that one written down, Todd Cantwell.
That's a great signing for them.
And I think that's a great signing for him.
When there was rumours of us getting linked, we've been linked with him for a few years. I've heard that he's got a really shitty attitude. So I'm glad we didn't bother. And the fact that, despite the fact he's available and Farke is our manager and we didn't go for him, kind of speaks a bit of volume. However, on his day, he's a very, very good player. And Blackburn actually look like quite a good side this season. They've They've definitely.
They look like they're going to do all right. I mean, they lost the striker, didn't they? But
mate,
they've
players
certainly
they've brought
replaced.
in.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got
They
some
looked-
real good players.
They look
in.
good. I mean, obviously, I watched their game at the weekend, and and I've seen them a couple times now, mainly for Daryl because he's watching every week, so I'll watch his team a little bit.
Yeah, he's been with us from the start, Daryl, bless him.
So at least we know
He suffered from
some
episode
stuff
1.
that he's watching.
Right, so we've got Angelo Ogbonna from West Ham to Watford on a free. 36-year-old centre-back, Italian. I think he'd do all right in the Championship.
Yeah,
I think he'd
probably.
be pretty good. Mana Solomon, Spurs to Leeds on loan. 25 Israeli left winger. Thoughts?
Brilliant.
You like what you saw?
Yeah, I did actually. To be fair, we can go into some of the other transfers on Leeds in a bit, but all but one got game time yesterday. And I'll only talk about Solomon at the moment. He looked a great threat.
Mm-hmm.
He was very confident on the ball, and he just seems to have that edge that we've lost from Somerville.
Yes.
So I think
lost a lot with Somerville, though, didn't you?
yeah, we did, but I think I could see him being. I mean, he replaced Dan James, but Dan James was injured.
To be fair, it could be made permanent as well because Tottenham clearly don't want him.
Well, there's no obligation to buy. There's no purchase clause.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that we do from there will be a completely separate deal.
Yeah, but you still like if he's good enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, Leeds that may then at the end of the season or whenever just go, we really want him.
Yeah.
Can
I mean, I
can
would
we
say
sort
the
it out?
line "Don't fall in love with loan players," but that's worked
Didn't-
out
yeah,
pretty
you got
well
yours.
for
Yeah, it
us
worked
this
alright
time.
for us last season.
Yeah, you got yours.
We got them all.
Yeah, we got Rodon, so yeah.
João Cancelo, City to Al Hilal. For me, that's just another guy
Money.
going to Saudi for money.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously where was he
I
last
mean-
year? Was he Bayern Munich or something or Barcelona?
He was on
He
loan,
went
wasn't he, at
somewhere.
Bayern?
Yeah, I know he's just been going on loan, and it
He's only
makes
30 though.
sense. Yeah.
30-year-old left back has gone to ruin his career.
Yeah, but Tony's gone over there as well, which is obviously another transfer. Which he's in the prime of his career, and he's going over there.
Now the funniest transfer of the transfer window. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Arteta's mate, Mikel Merino, Real Sociedad to Arsenal,
Gabriel's killed him.
who got injured in his first training session.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Although, like even the Raheem Sterling, as much as I'm happy with the Raheem Sterling signing, it does play along my line of Arteta signing his friends.
Yes.
So I'm still accurate on that. Fabio Vieira, the reason we got rid of Smith Rowe, because he's ready,
Yeah.
has gone out on loan
Yeah, I
for
saw
the
that.
season to Porto. 24-year-old, so he's older than Smith Rowe, just.
Yeah.
He's worse than Smith Rowe, and he's gone out on loan. Why did we sell Smith Rowe? Somebody remind me why we sell a quality player to loan out a poor player.
FFP.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's worth more selling him than he is
Crazy.
keeping him.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly it.
Charlie Patino's gone from Arsenal to Deportivo, 20-year-old English defensive midfielder. For me, Patino should be in the squad by now.
Mm.
I don't mean he should be because he's good enough. I mean he should be because
been around
at
long enough.
17
Yeah.
he had the potential to be. So if he's not showing that now, it may be time
Yeah.
to
Ship him off.
to cut your losses and let him go. As much as I like Charlie Patino, but it is what it is, and he's clearly not going to be good enough. Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal, Palace, 25 million plus 5 million of add-ons.
You've had their fucking pants down.
25-year-old English striker, says here. That's
You've had their
I
pants down.
don't see him how he gets in the Palace side.
I
the
watched
moment.
Palace today, and they look decent. They were lacking a clinical striker. Eddie Nketiah isn't that.
No.
So unless he pulls his socks up like Thierry used to, and really sort of gets stuck in, he's just going to be another of the same of what they've already got. Kepa on loan to Bournemouth. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Kepa has also signed a contract extension at Chelsea.
No, I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, that probably. So sometimes you don't sign a contract extension for the purpose of staying. You do it to drive your value up.
I understand that.
Release
But for me-
clauses.
Yeah.
For me,
Little bits.
where Kepa is concerned, that's only going to put teams off because I don't think he is what he thinks he is.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think he's got a slightly inflated. I'm not going to say ego, but
I was going to say ego.
no, that's on him. I mean, like, everyone sees him as this great goalkeeper because of the price tag that Chelsea paid for him.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
That's not his fault. So he's come into Chelsea with this weight of expectation, this weight of pressure to be something that he just isn't.
No, I would agree with that.
So I do feel for him a little bit. He's not a terrible keeper. He's not the best, but he's not terrible.
No, I'd agree.
And yesterday on his debut, you can't turn around and say he was at fault for anything. I think he actually made one really good save as well.
He did okay, to be
So
fair.
he's not a terrible keeper. And his new contract extension might literally be, well, if Bournemouth want to buy him, we want to install this clause, we want to get this value for you. And he's gone, yeah, fuck it, don't buy it to me.
Then Bournemouth might look at it and go, we're not paying that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, but they'll probably
So
up his wages at the same time.
He may have screwed himself over. The sad transfer.
That
Aaron
one, my happy
Ramsdale.
one.
26-year-old English goalkeeper from Arsenal to Southampton.
He wants his
For
hat trick.
18 million and 7 million in add-ons.
I knew he was going to say
He wants
that.
his hat trick.
Right, what Tim Reeves is referring to
The
is the
stat.
hat trick of relegations that Tim
Mm.
Reeves is fully expecting. And just a quick side note while we're here. I was moaning about the referee during the Arsenal game in the chat.
Yeah.
To which one of them, I'll let you decide which one it was, but one of them messaged back, boo-hoo. And they fucking really wound me up because I was pissed off at the time. So
That's even better.
I messaged him back saying, I hope you lose all 38 games this season. And then they went and got smashed.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with that
Yeah.
at the weekend.
I didn't realise it wound you up quite so much, so I'm even happier.
I was so angry about the refereeing that anything at that point would have wound me up.
That worked even better.
That was hilarious.
Lukaku's gone from Chelsea to Napoli, 26 million, 31-year-old Belgian striker. What do you think of that? I reckon he'd tear it up over there as he has been doing because the league's just hasn't got the defence that our league has got.
No, it's a slow pace.
And
slower pace,
Chiesa,
actually.
Juve to Liverpool, 26-year-old Italian striker.
3 years ago,
11
they
million.
rejected 85 million for that player.
Yeah, but 3 years ago he was twice the player he is now.
11
There's a
million.
reason Juve have gone, yeah, you can have him.
Okay,
The
so
same reason
you're
they
talking that
Shit
one.
and go.
So you've got Chiesa. I think it's a good signing for him anyway. But what's funny is Birmingham City spent more on a striker than Liverpool, and overall they've spent nearly as much money. So I don't quite get how Birmingham have spent all that money this season with FFP, because they've spent like 35.7 million, but it was 15 million up front for Jay Stansfield.
Haven't they barely spent anything over the last few years?
Yeah, they've
They
new owners.
They haven't done a lot over the
No,
last few
they've
years.
got
I
new
think, so
owners. They're having to do major
I reckon it does.
ground.
Hopefully,
work.
it looks like they're really
I
going
mean,
to
not that I
make
care,
it
'cause
up.
I don't like Birmingham anyway, but
But no, I thought it was kind of funny. But they've smashed like the League One record for
Yeah.
player being bought. So you mentioned Napoli. So Scott McTominay's gone to Napoli.
Good signing.
I think it's crazy to let him go,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Billy Gilmore went to Napoli as well.
I think he's got the potential to be a good player again, like Charlie Patino.
Ugarte gone to Man United from PSG.
I think it's going to make much difference. They're currently getting smashed 3-0 by Liverpool, and United, quite frankly, are a poor team.
Well, Casemiro's not had a good game, and he's playing that position, so looks like it might be a good move for them.
I mean, Casemiro's been shocking today. The one thing I will say is, for me, United are... I would describe United right now as a good manager with a very poor team. Because I quite like Ten Hag, and I think he has got something about him, but his team are just shocking.
I think, as we've repeatedly said about the egos in the dressing room and stuff, I think we are seeing a bit of a shift in the team as the egos are moving out, and he is starting to get a bit more control.
Yeah,
But
it's going to take a
that
bit of
said,
time,
they're just not good enough.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. I
So-
would agree.
Crystal Palace have kept Gay, which I think is massive.
That's huge. It's
But they
huge,
also
massive.
signed 2 centre-backs on top of that.
They will
Lacroix
Always got to have
Probably-
backup.
Yeah, they
and
probably would
Chalobah.
about Gay going as well.
and
I think
Chalobah.
Chalobah's gonna be
So
a
I
good
think
signing for 'em.
so I think Palace have definitely
They've improved.
strengthened because they've kept Eze as well. So I think the players they've kept is more important than the players that they've bought.
I would agree with that 100%.
James Ward-Prowse has gone to Nottingham Forest, which might be a good move for him.
Yeah.
I think we were linked with him,
I think
but we bought that many midfielders. I just don't think it was an option. I think
Prowse
it
would have
was
got in
more.
your first team, to be fair. I mean, the way you play him, I'd probably get in your first team. I'm fat and 40. But we'll go into that later.
We will go into that later. Jadon Sancho to Chelsea.
Weird.
One of the strangest transfers I've seen because isn't he a right winger?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Maduwaki is at least 3 times the player Jadon Sancho
Maduwaki
is.
is absolutely unreal.
He's superb.
It just didn't make a lot of sense, that one.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But then, how many of Chelsea's transfers have made sense to you?
None.
If I was to say to you,
Cole Palmer.
Southampton are going to sign 33 players this window, you'd be like, what are you on about? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's basically what Chelsea have
Well,
done.
you just said you don't know one. I'll just give you one. Cole Palmer is the only signing they've made. You go, I get that.
That genuinely made sense, to be fair.
Yeah.
And he is a quality player.
Yeah.
But as for Sancho, his wages will be high as well.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
And speaking about transfers and wages, actually, do you know Chelsea are paying Sterling more than Arsenal?
Yeah, 2/3.
I saw that. Yeah.
They're paying 2/3 of his wage.
Wow. I mean...
They did say they were going to help him find a new club, but really have.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, for me, I would say for once, and I literally mean for the first time, Edu and Arteta have finally got something right. Because financially, Arsenal are usually horrific. We will sign players for big and let them go for basically free. Like, look at Aubameyang. Let him go. Ozil just went. I mean, all these players that Arsenal have not got money for. Like, if we'd have played Smith Rowe last season and let him show what he was about, we'd have got more for him as well. The guy from the under-18s, Chibu Obi, the one that was scoring all the goals. All we had to do was play him a couple of times last season. There was games with 4-0 up at half-time. You're telling me you couldn't put a youngster on? You're smashing the team that you're playing. Sheffield United were never going to come back into that game, even if we'd have put our entire under-18s out. Because they were that beaten up.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they have just gone, do you know what, we are short of a striker. Come and join the first team. If we happen to be in a really strong position at half-time, I'll chuck you on for a half. He would have stayed at Arsenal. Guarantee it.
I think that's like the player that we've sold as well in the window. So Jadon Megahomer, who's
Who?
Jadon Megahomer. He came from Tottenham. Obviously, then started playing in the youth setup. Played a couple games, but they've sold him for $5 million.
Did you say Mega Homer?
Megahomer.
It just sounds like a massive blimp-sized version of one of the Simpsons.
No, but
He
he looked a good
I've
player.
got this vision of like an inflated Homer stomping
Yeah.
down the street.
He'd probably do. He probably would get in our team, but it looks like that he wasn't going to sign a new contract. It was up at the end of this season, so actually selling him for some money to Brentford was probably a smart bit of business there before losing him on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Well, we will go into games, like I say, but I will say this before we do, is Brentford have not exactly lost out by getting rid of Tony. I think they're playing some good football in a minute. We will go into that more in a bit, obviously, but yeah.
We're not doing with transfers, are we?
So, well,
We've written odd ones down, like Mason Holgate going to West Brom, which obviously is had a
I can run
calamity.
through a few if
So
you
I do
want me
want
to.
I do want to bring up at least 2 transfers.
Well, let me go through and you let me know if I've missed any.
Neil
So you've got-
Mopai to Marseille.
Yeah, that was a mad one.
Okay, so you've got Sterling to Arsenal. Reece Nelson, Arsenal to Fulham on loan. Jay Stansfeld, Fulham to Birmingham, undisclosed. George Edmondson, Ipswich to Middlesbrough on loan. Alex Maiton, Nottingham Forest to San Diego FC on undisclosed. Chem Campbell, Wolves to Reading loan. Mason Holgate, Everton to West Brom loan. Think that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Chiquino, Wolves to Mallorca loan. His surname's Amada. Not even going to begin to butcher that first name. Palace to Rennes on loan. Ben Doak, Liverpool to Middlesbrough on loan. Somebody, Ofaya, Brighton to Blackpool on loan. Ben Nelson, Leicester to Oxford. Jaden McHomer. Tom Cannon, Leicester to Stoke loan. Fabio Silva, Wolves to Las Palmas loan. Marcelo Pitaluga, Liverpool to Livingston loan. Mahmoud Dahoud, Brighton to Frankfurt on free. Harrison Ashby, Newcastle to QPR on loan. Josh Bowler, Nottingham Forest to Preston on loan. Wanya Markau, Leicester to De Graafschap on loan. And Billy Krellin, Everton to Accrington on loan. Neto, Bournemouth to Arsenal on loan. Manuel Ugarte, PSG to Man United, 42.3 million.
Insane.
Big fee. Ryan Fraser, Newcastle to Southampton, undisclosed. So you got Ryan Fraser.
Free transfer. He was released and signed. It's not undisclosed. It was a free transfer.
Oh, well.
Got released.
I'm only going by what FOTMOB said.
Yeah.
They're not always right. Billy Gilmore, Brighton to Napoli, undisclosed. Ben Doak, Liverpool to Middlesbrough. I'm sure that was on the previous page.
Yeah.
Andre Fluminense to Wolves. Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal to Crystal Palace. Says 30 million, but it wasn't. It was 25. James Ward-Prowse, West Ham to Nottingham Forest. Giovanni Lo Celso, Tottenham to Real Betis, undisclosed. I will say my son wasn't very happy about that. A little bit gutted that Lo Celso was going.
Why?
But then when your team's full of absolute donkeys, you're going to want the least
Lead donkey
like to stay, aren't you? Nayef Aguard, whoever that is, West Ham to Real Sociedad. Carlos Solar, PSG to West Ham on loan. Cade Gordon, Liverpool to Norwich on loan. Odson Edouard, Crystal Palace to Leicester on loan. That doesn't make any sense because Edouard for me is a better striker than Nketiah. Anyway, Chris Mepham, Bournemouth to Sunderland on loan. Maxwell Cornet, West Ham to Southampton on loan. Ivan Toney, Brentford to Al Ahly for 35 million. Matt Turner, Nottingham Forest to Crystal Palace on loan. Sam Johnson, Crystal Palace to Wolves.
That's one that interested me.
Sam Johnson.
Yeah, great keeper. But I've always thought Sarr was fantastic. But in the opening of this season, he's been absolutely horrendous.
I thought he was really good against Arsenal. The reason is because they should have had that fucking guy sent off twice. So fuck them.
But bringing in Sam Johnson is a really good shout.
Yeah.
And he's a goalkeeper who could be considered in the top 3 English keepers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good acquisition for Wolves' eyes.
I would agree. Neil Maupay, Everton to Marseille, loan with obligation to buy. Yimar Mosquera, whoever he was at, to Aston Villa. And then he went straight from Aston Villa to Real Union on loan. Daniel Jebison, Bournemouth to Watford. Jeremy Sarmiento, Brighton to Burnley on loan. Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal to Saints, 25 million. It wasn't 25 million, it was 18. Enzo Berentia, Villa to Valencia on loan. Georgi Petrovic, Chelsea to Strasbourg. Kevin Mabau, Fulham to Midtjylland, free transfer. Stefan Bajetic, Liverpool to Salzburg. Orel Mangala, Lyon to Everton. Sekou Kone, Guiders FC to Manchester United for 1 million. Maxence Lacroix, Wolfsburg to Crystal Palace, 17.7. Frank Onyeka, Brentford to Augsburg. Nat Phillips, Liverpool to Derby on loan. Fabio Silva, Wolves to Las Palmas on loan. Scott McTominay, Manchester United to Napoli, 25.7 million. They are the transfers I had written down. Apologies that was quite long.
It probably wasn't even all of them either.
But that was just a section of the transfers that happened during the last few days. Wow, breath now I've read all that. Yeah. Liked the Nketiah one, didn't like the Ramsdale one, as we all know. I will go on record yet again of saying Raya has had another good game.
Yeah, he was very good.
I would like to go into the Arsenal game now because
I want to finish transfers first.
it's in my head and it's starting to do me head in. So
Yeah.
you tell me what you need to about transfers,
So-
and then I'm going to have my say.
On the last day, we lost out on Hamer. We wanted him, but Chris Wilder decided to be a Vardy little bitch because apparently Hamer had agreed. He was like, "Yeah, I'll come to Leeds," but they didn't want to sell. So he tried to unsettle our players by saying that there was a deal, money and Pirro. There wasn't, but he was trying to do it to try and unsettle, and he's just been a little bitch about it. It's like transfer window's gone, and he's still moaning about it. It's like, deal with it.
It's done now.
Yeah.
Let it go.
So I'm gutted because he's a great player. And on the last day, we brought in 2 players, Ao Tanaka
Yeah.
and Isaac Schmidt. Isaac Schmidt, unfortunately, came with an injury. He played the night before he made his transfer, and he had a slight hamstring
It's not
pull.
a serious one, though.
No, it's
That's
sort of
not
a...
too bad, though.
I played last night. My hamstring's a bit tight. I can't play. But, it's who plays the next day? Well, turns out some of them do. So...
They had till they had to be registered by 12, was it?
Yeah, but
be
because
able to
Schmidt
play.
was...
Sterling couldn't play for
Because
Arsenal.
Schmidt had that injury, he didn't play. Tanaka made it onto the bench. And...
Well, he kind of got heroes worship as well in the at the Leeds end. He got pushed in front of him.
Well, this is what I want to get into. Radradani played off the bench and Solomon started. Solomon, as we've already said, was brilliant. He absolutely dominated. He looked really good. With the last, I think it was about 20 minutes to go, we made changes. We brought on Pirro. He scored 2-0 up. Right, smack out the rest. Radradani came on. He looked really good. I didn't quite figure out where he was playing, though. I figured he was on the wing, but he played very central. So it'd be interesting to find out where he's playing. That Tanaka, wow. He looks so... I mean, okay, we're only playing Hull. But every
Only
time...
playing Hull. How disrespectful is that?
He does this a lot.
I know, it's great.
Jesus.
But it's like, every time the ball was within 15 feet of him, he's asking for it. He's creating space. He's scanning. And he just looked so good. It was like a few times he'd just skip a challenge, then he'd pass off. And I'm just looking at him thinking, you could actually be one of our best players. Now, obviously, we've only seen a small clip of him. But he looked so good. And I thought, am I the only one who's noticed it? You go in the forum, everyone's going, how comfortable is he on the ball? He just wants the ball. He constantly, pass me the ball, pass. He looked so good. And for someone who's literally played at he's played at the World Cup and scored. But club-wise, he's never really played very high. Japanese Premier League, that's Sunday League. Germany, only the second tier. This is his first big step up, as it would be. But he doesn't look out of place.
Happy with him, though.
Very. And
Cool.
At the end of the game, when they were doing the applause to the fans, Firpo pushed Tanaka first, and they did the hey. He got a round of applause. Then they pushed Radrazani. He got it. They pushed Solomon forward, and the fans just, and you could see they were all like enjoying it, and the fans have just embraced them straight away. But that's Tanaka.
Obviously, another thing happened with Leeds as well. Obviously, Willie signed a new contract as well.
4-year contract.
I think, boys, what we're going to do is we're going to just go to a quick break.
We're just keeping you wound up for
Yeah,
even longer.
Yeah.
I'm going to wind him up
And,
during the break.
I'm ready to explode. Don't worry. I've been holding this in since yesterday, and I've been at work today as well. So it's not like I've had any sleep. So I'm ready to go. So
Right,
we're going to go
wind
to
him
a quick break, and we shall be back with you, beautiful people, very shortly. Hello and welcome back from the break. As we do in part 2, we go to our little game that we've got, which JimJam was really, really pleased with last week, because if I just go to the scores...
I mean, when I was listening to it, I got 9 points.
Jim got 9 points when he was listening. The guy that arranges our Friday football, Bish, got 10 points because he messaged me later and told me. Tin got 10 points. And Tom, who was standing in for you, he did really well. He got 3. So you don't.
I was even shouting what he could say in the chat one time, and it never happened.
Yeah, you were messaging
as I was listening.
Dear me. To be honest, I thought it was quite amusing, but Jim doesn't. So
he didn't beat me to John Scales though, so I'm kind of gutted that he
chance to redeem yourself, even though you weren't the one that messed up for yourself.
All I'm saying is, I feel like one more guest on Jim Jam's behalf, and then me and him are even.
I will counter that by saying one more guest on Jim Jam's behalf, and you will win it outright without even bothering anymore.
And the rules have all changed since.
I know.
Since
you
then
literally
as well.
got so many more points than me from 2 weeks. It's just.
Yeah, I will say apologies, Tom. We are just taking a piss, but you did do terribly. Right, so week 6, player 1, part 1. I was born 3rd of September 1970 in Watford, England. I am 6 foot tall. I started my youth career at Southampton. I started my senior career at Crystal Palace. I am a defender. Who am I? While we give the lads a little bit of thinking time, I'm just going to run over the clues again for the people listening. I was born 3rd of September 1970 in Watford, England. I am 6 foot tall. I started my youth career at Southampton, and I started my senior career at Crystal Palace. I am a defender. Who am I? Tin Ribs is looking like he's never heard of a footballer's name in his life, and Jim Jam has already written somebody down. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and show me your names without showing Jim Jam. Okay, we've got one here. We've got nothing in the corner, so he didn't mind showing it. Right, so we move on. That I am going to go into your guess afterwards, by the way.
Okay.
Part 2. I played 152 times at Palace, scoring 15 goals. I played 191 times at Villa, scoring 7 goals. I played 160 times at Middlesbrough, scoring 4 goals. And I played 57 times for England, scoring 2 goals just between 95 and 2004. Who am I? Again, for the people listening, I will go through it again. I played 152 times for Palace, scoring 15 goals. I played 191 times for Villa, scoring 7 goals. I played 160 times for Middlesbrough, scoring 4 goals. And I played 57 times for England, scoring 2 goals between 1995 and 2004. Who am I? 5, 4, 3, 2.
It's spelt wrong.
1. I know you mean. Jim, have you got a guess?
No.
He's run out of time anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got no guess for Jim, and we have a guess for Tin Ribs. We're going to read part 3 for the people at home. Part 3. You're both honestly just going to kick yourself now. I missed a penalty for England and made a Pizza Hut ad about it. I managed England between 2016 and 2024. Who am I?
You know, I nearly wrote him down.
Can we just take a second? Gareth Southgate, yes. Well, Shitgate, as he's written. Yes, that's right. Can we just go back to your first... Right.
Age was maybe a bit out.
Can you read out what your first guess was?
Ian Dowie.
Ian Dowie. Can I just go through the first clues again? In fact, I'll only go through one of the clues again. I am a defender.
I couldn't remember. I had a feeling that he wasn't a defender after I wrote it.
And I saw Ian Dowie. I'm like, I'm certain Dowie was a striker. Like, where's that come from? So,
well, we have like
massive shift in play there. We have 1 point versus 1 point.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you knew who I was on about my second guess, because I couldn't remember how to fucking spell it for shit.
That's not a bad effort.
Yeah.
That's not a bad effort.
I went with Hugo Ekiog.
I nearly wrote him, but then I thought, no, it's not. He didn't play that many times for England.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. But
right.
And then when I ran out of time, I thought Gareth Southgate, but I'd run out of time to write something. So then I'm really annoyed because I could have had extra 2 points. But
I'm just insulted that you even mentioned the guy's name.
Right. Week 6, Player 2, Part 1. I was born 2nd of June 1988, Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am 5 foot 8 inches. I am a forward. Who am I? For the people listening at home, I was born the 2nd of June 1988, Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am 5 foot 8 inches tall. I am a forward. Who am I? 5, 4, 3. We're already done. Okay, one there. And one there. Okay, what the fuck is that surname?
My pen's shit.
Yeah. I knew what it was. It's not spelled right. But never mind.
Oh yeah, people are dyslexic.
I've just had to flick through my book to remind myself who it was because I thought you were both right then. And I'm like, it's definitely only one of them.
I was like...
right, part 2. I started my youth career at Independiente, who I later started my senior career with, making 54 appearances, scoring 23 goals. I was the youngest ever player to play in the Argentinian league at 15 years and 35 days, beating a 27-year record held by Maradona. I will go through them clues again for the people listening at home. I started my youth career at Independiente, who I later started my senior career with, making 54 appearances and scoring 23 goals. I was the youngest ever player to play in the Argentinian league at 15 years and 35 days, beating a 27-year record held by Maradona. Who am I? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm sticking.
I'll just write another player down.
And you've gone for him. Okay. Right. Part 3. I have the most Premier League hat-tricks earned whilst at Man City. I played 275 games, scoring 184 goals, City's record number. I joined from Atletico Madrid and left City for Barcelona, only to retire early due to health reasons. You'll be really annoyed to know that Tinrip's got 10 points on that one.
10 points? There's only 5 going.
I'll take 10.
I was going on what we were talking about earlier from last week.
No,
Tinrip's got 5 points on that one.
I had a choice between 2 players, which is why I thought I'll write him down as my second guess anyway.
Yeah.
And then I was like, when the third, I thought, Tin's got.
So, we had the first one you both got 3 on, didn't you?
1.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
1.
You got 1 each. And then...
But the reason he couldn't read it was my pen doesn't seem to want to work.
You got 5.
Yeah. But I literally put Aguero and then lots and lots of exclamation marks.
So,
Aguero.
Let's go.
He was in my head, but obviously I wrote the wrong one.
To be fair, it was...
That was like Stoichkov and Berbatov last week.
Yeah,
I had 2.
It's a 50-50.
And obviously the age... I'm not very good when it comes to the ages, I've come to realise.
Yeah. It was the age that made
Counting is a real bitch for us old people. Listening. Right. Week 6, Player 3, Part 1. I was born 18th of September 1976 in Itaguaia, Brazil. I'm 6 foot tall. I started my youth career at São Cristiano, my senior career at Cruzeiro. Who am I? For those listening, I apologise for butchering these names. I really should pick players from places I can pronounce. I was born the 18th of September 1976 in Itaguaia, Brazil. I'm 6 foot tall. I started my youth career at São Cristiano and my senior career at Cruzeiro. Who am I? 5, 4, 3. Don't need any more time. Okay. Right. Part 2. I played for Real Madrid and Barcelona. I played for Inter Milan and AC Milan. And I played for Brazil between 1994 and 2011. Who am I? For those listening at home, I played for Real Madrid and Barcelona. I played for Inter Milan and AC Milan. I played for Brazil between 94 and 2011. Who am I? 5, 4, 3, 2... Okay. And part 3. I am still the youngest ever Ballon d'Or winner. I broke the world transfer record twice. I suffered with my knee, yet was still considered one of the world's best forwards. So for those listening at home, that is, I am still the youngest ever Ballon d'Or winner. I broke the world transfer record. Why can I not say transfer? Jeez,
because you are absolutely moronic.
I broke the world transfer record twice, and I suffered with my knee, yet was still considered one of the greatest ever forwards. Who am I?
Pretty confident.
And I can tell you that both of the guys in here got 3 points each because they got it on the second guess.
Who was your first guess?
Romario.
I went Kaka first.
So, that was quite a good week. I didn't want to screw you over with another John Scales, so I thought I'd make them a little easier. So we've got 3 and 3.
I'm gutted I didn't put me Southgate. I wish I had 5 seconds extra.
That's 7 for Jim, 9 for Tin Ribs.
I was close.
He's only 2 points behind, but that does mean he's got an extra 2 points.
There's a long season ahead.
There is a long season ahead, and you've got to hope that I can still think of random people to put down.
It's going to start getting to where everyone's 0-0 because they're going to start bringing out some right obscure players.
Oh yeah, there's going to be some right weirdos coming up soon. I can already think of one that I want to do for next week, just because I don't think either of you will get it. But I don't know if I want to be that messed up. We'll see next week.
I need a new pen for next week. Oh shit.
You can have one this week. There you go. Cheers, mate. Right. So we're going to go into, if I can stop punching the microphone, we're going to go into. This is not going well for me this week.
You know what?
I actually, at the start of this second part, I had to record it twice because I'd started recording it and I was just happily chuntering away to myself, clearly, because my microphone was about 4 foot to my right, so nobody could hear anything, and I was just kind of talking to myself. So yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But
you know what,
well,
though? I know where you want to go, but unfortunately, we can't talk about this weekend because we had midweek games at the EFL Cup. So we're going on EFL Cups first. So you can't talk about the weekend yet.
That's fine. I've got plenty of time in part 3 to go into my rant. That's no problem.
So obviously, EFL Cup played. So Southampton played their game. We played our second string, which did a lot better against Cardiff's second string, so to speak. No disrespect to them players, but I don't know how often it's happened, but 22 changes.
Oh, no, yeah.
Both teams made 11 changes from a weekend. That was like crazy. But I quite liked what I saw in parts, and then I didn't like other scenarios. So it was 5-3, and it was probably a very entertaining game for the neutral.
Do you know why you liked what you saw in parts?
Because we won.
That's because the entirety of the Premier League so far in your 3 games has been dog shit.
Yeah.
So at least you saw some good stuff in that game.
We did. But them players still
You'll notice
don't get in the team.
I'm abusing Southampton a little bit this week, but then he did piss me off at the weekend, so it's his own fault.
It's all right. I can take that. So we went and won 5-3. We'll discuss players a bit later on. So, cup draw went in. Obviously, Blackburn, they won't be happy because they lost to Blackpool 2-1. And the team that beat Leeds, Middlesbrough, got smashed by Stoke 5-0, which was a bit unexpected from that. The cup draw surprised me a little bit as well, because the European sides got drawn out earlier on for home and away because there's potential clashes because obviously the European competition have got more games.
What do we think about the change to the Carabao Cup, man?
I don't think it makes that much difference. I think, it gives them sides a little bit of advantage because they can't face each other, but they could potentially have faced Premier League opposition, so it wasn't like
what's the difference between them facing each other in round 3 or in the semi-final?
It's the first leg of the European games. That's what's causing the issues.
Put a second string side out then. It's Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
You're not going to put your first team out anyway. Stop pretending you're going to be putting Haaland out when we know you're not. Stop pretending Havertz and Saka are going to be on the pitch when we know full well they're not. So I personally think it's bullshit.
So yeah,
I think it's an absolute disgrace, and they shouldn't be changing.
It didn't bother me too much. So select fixtures anyway from the games coming up. So Liverpool got the home tie against West Ham. 115 FC have got a home tie against Watford.
Yep.
Wimbledon, who had a great penalty victory over Ipswich. They were leading for a lot of that game as well, so fair play to Wimbledon, and they've got a home game against Newcastle, so that should be a good one. Chelsea are at home to Barrow, so Barrow are doing quite well. They're
holding their own, aren't they?
So they're doing quite well, so that's a good tie for them. Arsenal are at home to Bolton. I'm guessing you're okay with that because you'll put out
they'll just put out kids, won't they? So we've just got to hope that our kids are better than Bolton, which...
Yeah.
Who knows till we get there, basically.
Man United have got Barnsley, and we've got an away trip to Everton. Obviously, there's lots of other formats there, but I thought I'd go briefly into the EFL Cup. Apologies to those teams that have not been mentioned, but we do try keep the show short.
Yeah, I mean, we
could go on and on.
We've gone from trying to keep it to 2 half-hour sections, which we were fucking terrible at, by the way.
Yeah.
To just accepting that it was going to be over an hour, so we've gone to 3 parts of half an hour each, as much as we can possibly keep it. You will keep noticing, if you're watching rather than listening, that my eyes keep going just down to the bottom right there, but it's because I'm keeping my eye on the time.
So, because of that EFL Cup, and we mentioned the European team, so there's more teams in it, so there's a new format. How do you feel about a new format?
I think it's a good idea, personally. I think they need to stop bitching about too many games. I like the fact now that you don't play 3 teams twice, and you play, is it 8 different teams or 7?
7 or
teams?
8 teams.
I like that. I prefer it. If you're at home, great. If you're not, tough shit.
Yeah, I kind of looked at the fixtures, seeing if anybody really had any huge advantages, but I don't think anybody really does necessarily. Because obviously, like, Liverpool have got a home tie against Real Madrid, and I'm pretty sure...
If you're good enough, you'll finish in the top 8. If you're not, you won't. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter who you're drawn against.
Well, you don't even have to finish in the top 8, do you? The top 8
Well, no, but I mean,
qualify,
the top 8 will go through automatically.
And then it's...
But if you're good enough, you're going to be in that top 8. And if you're thinking of winning it, you should fucking be in that top 8. End of story.
And then is it the next 16? So it's
the
24 teams.
Then play each other.
So it's 12 get eliminated.
Yeah.
And
they don't go into the
draw, and they don't go into the Europa Conference or anything.
And the Europa don't go into the Matalan Charity League European Cup.
I think that's a good thing, because I don't think a team that finished third in the Champions League deserved to go into another competition.
Far, far better. Far better.
And I like the fact that we're going to see more games as well that you want to see.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing, really. I don't want them to piss about too much with the Carabao Cup. As I mentioned a lot on here, I like the Carabao Cup.
I don't know if he did it on purpose, but if he kept teams not playing teams from their own country as well, because I didn't see any, like, Arsenal play.
I think they try to do that anyway, don't they?
And stuff.
I mean, the closest we've got, I think Tottenham are playing Rangers.
I think a couple of them are playing Rangers.
I think, is it United as well that have got... No, not United, sorry. City have got Rangers, is it? And I can't remember.
I couldn't remember all the fixtures, but I
know Tottenham have got Rangers, because I looked at it and thought, hey, a game Tottenham could win. But the only game they're going to fucking win.
Yeah, because I looked at it and thought, okay, some of the teams, they've got an away tie, and potentially had the chance that it may be unfair, like, say, if Real Madrid were at home to all the hard games, and then all the away ties were at the teams towards the bottom end of the Champions League. That would be tough. But I think everybody's got an opportunity, even like when you look at Villa and the teams that they're playing. I think they've got every chance of making...
I will just stick with it. If
top.
you're good enough, you'll get through.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. If Arsenal don't go through, it's because they're not good enough. It's not because, any special reason that we were drawn against such and such away rather than at home, or we draw. If you're good enough, you'll win it.
I think there's a high chance that the top 8 will go down to the last game as well. Or do you think it might get all done and dusted too early?
I think...
Because obviously it's a lot of games and a lot of teams playing each other. I
think it'd be interesting to see how it goes, because obviously it's brand new. It's something that nobody's used to, so we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose, and see what happens, see how it goes.
For me, whenever you do any change, people are immediately going to jump on the whole, oh, it's not as good, or oh, it's bad, or... I think we won't really know until this one's finished, because it's change.
Mm.
And
I'm happy to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. Personally, I think it's like I say, I would say I prefer the old system. Everyone plays each other twice, you sort of have that. But that's because that's what we've done for the last 20 years. Mm. So it's so normal that that's what we expect now. So to change it is going to feel awkward. It's going to feel different. Who knows? I mean, I think The proof's in the pudding. You just got to wait.
I think the thing is the last time we all complained about a change, it was Premier League and then the Championship because we wanted 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's turned out to be really good, I think. The Championship for me is a great league. The Premier League was a great league until 115 decided to get involved and start spending left, right and centre and just owning it and turning it into the Scottish League. But the Championship for sure, like people were, why are they calling it the Championship? Why is it not just Division 1? Why is it not this? Why is it not that? Well, it's worked quite well. So give the Champions League a try. I will stick by the fact that they need to change the name of it. They have to change the name of it.
Why do you?
Champions League. How many champions have won?
Oh, well, I suppose.
City?
Yeah, but it's always been that way.
Not to begin with. Years and years ago, before Champions League, when it was the European Cup,
Yeah.
if you won your league, you got into it. If you didn't, you didn't. So they either knock it back down to 12 teams or whatever it is and have champions in it, or they change the name of it because it's very misleading.
Yeah.
To like
Because the champions don't
European
win it.
Elite League or something.
Just something, because it's not champions that are partaking in it.
'Cause-
Arsenal are in it. When we haven't been champions since 2004, 20 years ago. But we're in it.
Teams that finish fourth. I mean, teams that finish fifth this year are in it because they've got extra
Champions.
European
Yeah,
spot.
but it's been called Champions League for years, where it's
Yeah, but they need to change the name.
not champions.
For me, personally, they need to change the name of it.
Yeah.
I'm not salty about it, but I just find it strange.
Do you think it's a good thing as well that you only play a team once as well? Like it's a one game shootout. It's not like, oh, we've got a return leg to try do
I
something.
prefer it because there's none of this horse shit now of like, well, we're going over to Real Madrid, and if we can just get a draw when we're over there, and you're like, this game's going to be shit.
Yeah.
They're literally talking about getting a draw straight away. This is bullshit. It's going to be crap. It's going to be defensive. It's going to be Gareth Southgate England. It's going to be horrendous. Whereas now, you're only playing Real Madrid once, whether you're at home or away.
Yeah.
There's no we're going over there for a draw. You've got to go over there for the win. Much prefer it. I think it's going to improve the games, personally.
I think a game like that, if you're...
There's a fly going around, that's why I'm out. That's why
I mean, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but obviously levels. It's like Villa, if they were drawn against Real Madrid, are they going to want to play them at home, or are they going to want to have that game away to have a potentially easier tie at home?
Without trying to be disrespectful, if you've got a team like Villa, who are a good side, don't get me wrong, they're a good side.
Well,
but if they go to Real Madrid and they're like, we need to get a draw out of this because we just need something, I will at least understand it. But when you've got egos like Arsenal and City and Liverpool that are like, we can win this, well, fucking show it then and don't go over there and draw. Like, all last season, what we got Arteta all last season. We can win the league. We can win this. We can do it.
Well, you played for a draw against Manchester City.
Did you watch that game against Man City?
Yeah.
Did
you
we
play
go
for a draw?
At any point during that game, did Arsenal go for it?
No.
I didn't see it.
No.
I saw us sit back and play
But
Southgate England.
if you'd have gone for that game and you beat Man City, what would you be now?
Champions.
Yeah. That's why I didn't get why Arteta was saying a draw was a good result, because it wasn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But had we gone for that game and lost, I would genuinely sit there and go, at least we give it what we got. Okay, we weren't good enough. That's why we haven't won. I can accept that. But when we've sat back and not played our football, I really struggle with that. And this is why I criticise Arteta.
But you'd have lost the league by 3 points, not 1 point.
Yeah, but
losing.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how many points it is.
I'd rather lose trying than lose by sitting back and defending and going, yay, and celebrating a draw. No, I'm sorry, but I didn't celebrate that draw. I was really annoyed about it because the game was boring. Arsenal didn't try. I think we had, one shot? I'm not even sure if it was on target. It was one of the most dull games I've ever seen, and that is not what... Can you imagine 1999 Manchester United going into a game against Arsenal and sitting back? They beat us fucking 8-2 in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
That's what champions do. They go out against their bitter rivals and they smash them.
Oh, that was that whole meet. I'd hate to be a Arsenal fan right now, wouldn't it?
I had loads of crap about that. But we deserved it. We got beat 8-2.
Hey, we got beaten 0-0 twice, 2 seasons in a row.
Like a Southampton.
Home and
special.
away.
Yeah, I mean, the way you're playing, you're looking for another one this
And the
season.
manager never got sacked.
Haaland's probably going to get put 9 past you when you play City, so you're in for a
Why?
rough
Because we're going to
season.
make 9 mistakes.
I don't even think you're going to need to make the mistakes. I don't think the team you've got is good enough to keep him
Well,
out.
when you were saying earlier about, do you think he's overrated? I don't.
Well,
No.
he's never scored in a semi-final, never scored in a final, and he struggles against good
Yeah, but that's
defenders.
because they double up on him.
We
And
know.
that's fine.
Mate,
That doesn't
We
matter
know.
then.
Saliba marks Haaland. That's it.
Okay.
He's not doubled up on. He's
All I'm
one
saying-
defender,
A lot of teams-
one-on-one,
a lot
and
of
he
teams-
struggles
His
like
a lot of teams
second
double
goal was superb against West Ham.
I'm not saying he's not a great striker, but is he all he's made out to be? Because
right
people now are criticising Henry because yes, he scored a lot, but he didn't do it in the big games. Well, Haaland doesn't do it in the big games.
I don't think.
So does that just make Haaland the new Henry?
No. But I think stats like this kind of make a lot of sense. So, most hat-tricks in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Sergio Aguero is top with 12 career hat-tricks in the
Yeah.
Premier League. He played 275 games. Alan Shearer is second with 11. 441 games. Robbie Fowler is third. 379 games.
By the way.
9 hat-tricks. Haaland's fourth.
Is he fourth
8
now? Is he beaten Owen now then?
hat-tricks in 69 games. Then you've got Owen, Kane, and Henry. Henry is 258 games for 8. Kane is 320, and Owen is 326 for 8. Haaland is on 8 in 69 games.
I'm not saying he's not a great striker. What I'm saying is he all he's made out to be when he goes missing in the big games? So for me, if people are criticising Henry, you've got to criticise Haaland the same way.
No, I agree.
Because Henry scored goal after goal after goal. He may not have got hat-trick
but
after hat-trick.
if anyone doesn't look at Henry and think he's one of the best strikers of all time, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And the thing with Haaland is he is a great striker. And some of the goals he scores are just unreal.
I'm also going to word it like this. You're saying the big games, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The big games, your semi-finals and finals, 99% of the time are going to be against your elite clubs. So, back in Henry's days, Man United. You look at the defenders that were at Man United. Yapstan. Vidic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this one. Rio Ferdinand. They are going to be man-marking you. They're going to be up your arse and they're going to stop you. They are going to do anything they can to stop you. We're talking the best defenders and the best strikers.
Right, okay, so
However-
tell me a defender now that's like any of them.
Saliba.
Okay? He doesn't score against Saliba.
I'd possibly say... Okay, same team, but I'd possibly put Ake in there.
That's neither in or there because he doesn't play against him.
A couple of years ago, Van Dijk.
Right, so the only player you can really mention is Saliba that's like them players from years ago. Now, when we played them teams years ago, Henry scored. He scored against United a lot.
Yeah.
Haaland plays against the one player you've mentioned, and he struggled like fuck.
Yeah.
So is he as good?
Yeah.
I think if you put Haaland back in the late 90s, he's not half the player he is
I think
today.
he still scores.
He still scores.
I just think there's not
Fucking
enough.
right, he still scores.
No, I think he's...
100%.
I think he's just as good.
But
I just
he
think the problem
doesn't
is...
score the amount he scores
people
now.
are just picking on the one time you've got an elite defender.
He's not going to
Yeah, but that's
score a
what
hat
makes him
trick
elite.
in
You can't
every
score every
game he
game.
plays.
I'm not saying that, but he could score at least one. And against Arsenal, recently, he's not. Because Saliba's got his number. You could have Henry's number.
Yeah.
And he would still score against you.
We'll see how the next
You could have...
Arsenal,
Are you
City
telling
game
me...
goes.
Are you telling me that Tony Yeboah, back in the mid-90s, you could have his number... You're sure as shit that if you know where he's going, he's going to barge you out the way and get a goal.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
either
but you
gonna
can't
run
barge people out of the way anymore.
You can to a degree. I mean, you can fucking full-on volley him in the shins and get away with it. So I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
he had to just get one in, didn't he?
Well, it's there. It's what it is. So I'm sure you can nudge somebody out the way.
I don't know.
Although I will say there is some bloody soft free kicks given in this day and age.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's different. There's different levels, but no, I do think Haaland is as good as they come.
I think he's very, very good against minnows. And when he's up against class defenders, struggles like fuck.
We'll see.
But you might be surprised to hear we're actually on 30 minutes.
Bloody hell.
So we'll go to a break and we'll be back very shortly with part 3. Just a quick break in play to let you good people know that we have some good news with our partnership with Dubby.gg.
Was 10%. It's not anymore. It's 20%. So
20%.
Get yourself to the checkout and enter the code Sunday, SUNDAY.
That's it. Sunday at checkout and enjoy 20% off. Hello and welcome to part 3. We are going to start part 3 as we usually do these days with accountability, which is myself and JimJam are on the weight loss trail. We are trying to lose a bit of weight, trying to get a bit healthier, trying to make football a little bit easier on a Friday because we do play still every Friday. So we're going to go very quickly and just go week 1. I was 16 stone 2, 45 around the belly and 45 around the waist, which, by the way, is fucking massive. For those people that are unsure on what their measurements are, it's huge. So in week 4, I'm now 16 stone, so I've lost 2 pounds. Should have done a little bit better, really. But the kids are off. I've had a bad week. I've struggled with one thing and another. And so to lose any, I'm okay with that. So I've gone from 45 around the belly to 43.5, so I've lost inches. And 45 around the waist to 42.5. JimJam started at 16.9. We didn't get your measurements on week 1. But the measurements that we did get you were 45 around the belly and 42 around the waist.
That was week 1.
Yeah, but we didn't get your
the
measurements
measurements,
if you remember. So week 2 you were 16.2, 45 belly, 42 waist. And this week you are 16.1.5. So you've lost a little bit. I'm not sure what that was.
Although I can say that I was 16.4 last week, so I did actually gain weight. Although I didn't eat anything really unhealthy, I just put on weight.
I mean, it happens sometimes, doesn't it? But you've gone 45.5 inches on the belly and 40.5 inches around your waist. So you've lost a little bit around your waist, so you're not doing horrendously badly. But we're both still above the 16 mark that we both want to get below. So yeah, we're doing okay, but should be better. Kids are back to school this week, so as long as I get good runs. By the way, I've got a great run tomorrow. I'm literally going to Bristol and back. Now I don't know if you know, but even in a truck, Bristol is 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
So I'll drive down 2.5 hours, unload for an hour, have a break for 45 minutes, and then 2.5 hours back, and my day's done. So I've got a good day tomorrow.
Nice.
How about you?
Start of a full week.
You look very happy about that as well.
Yeah. I like 4-day weeks when it's bank holiday and stuff.
I like bank holiday because I get paid more on a bank holiday, so I work them.
Yeah.
Because I get paid hourly on bank holiday, I get paid salary when it's not bank holiday. So I actually got an extra 90 quid for Monday than I would normally get. So I was quite pleased. How about yourself?
Just another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. He says that, but he does quite enjoy his job. So, right, I think what we're going to do is, I'm not putting it off any longer. I'm going to talk about the Arsenal game because...
Boo.
You fucking right, boo. We're going to get into boo. Now, the Arsenal game. We started really, really well. Controlled the game. Possession football was great. Declan Rice made a bit of a crazy challenge in the first half. Got booked for it, rightly so.
Yeah.
It was a silly challenge, really. He'd lost control of the ball. Should have just let it go. But he dived in to try and get it. I mean, he didn't hurt anybody. It wasn't a dangerous tackle, but it was a bookable offence. Now, we're going to go into the fact that every single time Brighton hit the floor, they got a free kick. And on at least a quarter of them occasions, Arsenal got booked for literally fuck all. Now, I know what people are going to say when they hear this. Arsenal fan bitching about the Arsenal not winning, blaming the referee. Now, I am going to go into not conspiracy theories as such, but if you want to put an end to conspiracy theories on people wanting City to win the league, right? This season, Wolves should have had a player sent off, and they didn't against Arsenal. Although we still won the game, it did make things more difficult and annoyed the Arsenal players. And against Brighton, countless decisions went against Arsenal. Now, when you're getting Rice sent off for the pathetic reason he was sent off for, when it was... The official reason was not kicking the ball away, by the way, Tin Ribs. The official reason was delaying the restart. City have managed that like half their career in the Premier League and got away with it. But apparently when Declan Rice does it, he's then allowed to be full-on assaulted with no repercussions whatsoever. So volleying someone in the knee is now not a red card offence.
Hold on. So it's delaying the kickoff. So
Delaying the restart.
Delaying the restart. Now, who plays the ball forward?
Veltman rolls it forward and it hits Rice's foot initially.
Does that ball stop moving?
Not at any point.
So how is it delaying the restart? Because he can't take the free kick until that ball is stationary.
He's intentionally tried to get Rice sent off.
Yeah.
But should have got himself sent off. Whereas, like, normally when that happens, when somebody tries to take a quick free kick when the opposition is directly in front of you, if the opponent's not intentionally directly in front of you, the ref will normally walk over and go, Rice, move away. Veltman, don't be stupid, I know what you're doing. Just wait a second, give him a chance to get away. Normally, that's what will happen. But on this occasion, the ref has just gone immediately to book Rice, who'd already been booked, rightly so in the first half.
Yeah.
But he's booked him for no reason in the second half, and not sent Veltman off for assaulting him, which it was. When you volley somebody in the knee, that's assault, and is meant to be a red card. Now, this is where the conspiracy theory comes into it, because the ref, Chris Kavanagh, who should be struck off, by the way, because he's absolutely not fit for purpose, was born in Droylsden and lives in Manchester, right? And he lives literally moments away from Man City's training ground. Now, if you don't want conspiracy theories, and if you don't want people to come up with this sort of stuff that I'm now talking about, don't have referees living next to Man City that are clearly against Arsenal during that game. Now, I'm not saying he hates Arsenal and he's forever against Arsenal, but during that game, he was definitely favouring Brighton for whatever reason. That makes the outsider and the Arsenal fans look at that and think there's got to be a reason for that, because them decisions are mental. Absolutely mental. Well, what other reason is there? You live next to City Stadium. You're born in Manchester. What conclusions are we meant to draw? Like, help me out. Am I wrong? If so, why? Because nothing I've said is wrong. He does live minutes, literally a walk away from City's training ground. About where my mum lives from City Stadium. Literally round the corner. Born in Manchester, lives near Man City, and sends Rice off for nothing. Doesn't send Veltman off for a clear red card. And every single decision during that game went against Arsenal. Now, I can accept mistakes being made by officials. The odd mistake. I get a bit annoyed when it's obvious and VAR get it wrong. I get why VAR couldn't step in, because it was yellow, not a red. I think that rule is pathetic, by the way, because at the end of the day, the red card was produced, so it's a red card. So VAR should be able to step in at that point. Am I wrong on that?
No.
If you're lifting out the red card after the yellow card, that's then a red card offence, not a yellow card offence. Because he's been sent off. So VAR should be able to look at it, because the red has been shown.
I just think the whole thing is with the VAR, where they can, where they can't, is just stupid.
If it's there, use it. If there's a contentious decision, use it.
It should be a tool that they can use in order to make sure they get the correct decision, not the correct decision in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, I won't lie. When you started kicking off about the ref. This was long before Rice got sent off. And I was thinking, he's full of shit. And I started watching. And I'm not going to lie. His decision-making had the consistency of diarrhea.
So I'm not totally wrong.
It wasn't... So, Santos leathers the ball down the pitch. That's okay. Ball's gone out of play. Leathers
Ball
it
went
down
out
the
for a
pitch.
throw-in, basically.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And as it rolls in,
That's fine.
He boots it down to
Don't worry about it. Then you have the incident where we've watched it here together. The ball is never stationary.
No.
He's intentionally rolled it into him. Now, he hasn't kicked him because he's kicked the ball away. He's already in the motion, but he's trying to kick it into Rice in order to get him sent off. Rice is walking away.
Yeah.
The only thing Rice did wrong is to kick the ball away, which I've said, even I said to you, it's a yellow card, deal with it. But the way he's gone about it, I'd send him off, straight red. He's done it intentionally. It's intentional. It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
He's as bad as Ben Diaz.
Like,
Yeah.
I get that I'm going to be pro-Arsenal when I'm watching games, right? Because it's just natural. I do try to take a step back a lot of the times, like when I'm having conversations with you, or Spen even about Spurs. There's times where decisions have gone against Arsenal for Spurs, and even Spen's gone, oh, that was right. No, Spen's gone, that was wrong. That should have been Arsenal's. I'm like, no, it really wasn't. Arsenal are in the wrong.
Yeah.
We give away a free kick. I try to be as impartial as I can, but Jesus Christ, there was nothing like when you as a Leeds fan are looking at that, going, this referee actually. Because you want nothing more, let's be honest, we're all mates here, we've been mates for years, you want nothing more than to turn around to me and go, you're full of shit, you're just salty, you're just a prick. So for you, who is looking for ammunition to have a go at me, to sit there and go, actually, you've got a point, says fucking volumes.
Yeah.
Like, as you were saying, the VAR is there as a tool to be used, and it should be used even in yellow card situations, rather than getting another massive tool and giving him a fucking whistle. Because that's not what you should do. Chris Kavanagh should never referee again, be it the Premier League or be it Sunday League. He should never referee again. Because I've played in games on Sunday League, reffed by our opposition's manager, that have been less biased than that game that was played Brighton v Arsenal. It was disgusting.
You know, when I was when I played Sunday League, I used to lino quite a lot, and they didn't like me being a lino because I didn't flag for.
Because you're honest.
Because I was honest. So if they were onside, I let it go, and they're shouting, "Flag him, flag him!" I'm like, "He's onside though."
Yeah, I've had that a couple of times.
That was
it was
me.
one
Remember
way
I
of
was
stopping.
I was injured and I was running the line, and I had death threats. Like I had my own centre back threatening to kick my head in. I'm like, don't play him on there.
To be fair, he was never going to do it.
No, but it was just that funny. I was there going, "Oh fucking boy, where's your fan?" I'm like, don't play him on side then.
Mate, I was a striker, and I look back at that, and I'm like, oh God, why can't you just drop off 5 yards and
I'll
stop
call
the
it how
run?
it is.
And they're having a go at you, and I'm like, I could see that was onside, and
Yeah.
I'm fucking 70 yards away
But
at
it's
the
like
other end of the
people
pitch.
just. I don't understand the whole. If you're going to play sports, just be fair.
Yeah, and it's certainly like, I mean, when you're talking the amount of money in the Premier League, and we lost the Premier League last season by 1 point.
Yeah.
That Brighton game, we lost 2 points because of the referee.
Yeah.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. Had Rice not walked, we'd have won the game.
Or if both players had
Because
walked.
Brighton were...
If both players had
If
walked.
both players had walked. But even then, I'd have just... Now, if Pedro had been booked in the first half for kicking the ball away, and then both players were sent off, I'd have held my hands up and gone, he kicked the ball away, got a yellow card, you kicked the ball away, got a yellow card, tough shit. Don't kick the ball away. But when one does it and doesn't get booked, and he's kicked it across the pitch, it's not like he hid it. Rice, it wasn't exact. It was subtle. It's obvious he's done it still, but it was a lot more subtle than leathering it across the field, and then he gets booked for it. It just baffles me as to how bad it is. And I know that we're bleating on a little bit about the Arsenal game, and we haven't talked much about any of the other games, but honestly, for me, it was the biggest talking point this weekend. And it was it's so bad that it's just crazy.
I mean, I haven't got a lot to say because I wasn't watching that game. I don't have TNT Sports at the moment, so I was watching Burnley-Blackburn. And obviously there was a red card in that game as well. That
I haven't seen that one yet, actually.
which was quite amusing. I mean, I can just tell
Have
you
you got any chance
about
you can
it.
get that up and I'll have a quick look now and I'll see what
So
you're
what
doing.
happens is Gay makes a foul on the Gay gets fouled, so the Burnley player's over him and stuff like that and pulls him down. So Gay turns around to the referee and starts waving the card at the referee.
Which is a yellow card.
So obviously the ref comes over, yellow card, red card, second yellow, gets sent off.
Oh,
I
already
don't
been-
think that's what he meant, but
Ah.
it serves him right.
To be honest, you deserve it. If
Yeah.
like I say, Rice kicking the ball away deserved a yellow, but not when somebody's already kicked the ball away and not got a yellow. So you want consistency. If you kick the ball away and don't get booked for it, I expect that I should be able to kick the ball away and not get booked for it.
Well, it was like Leicester. Who did Leicester play? Villa. So Leicester thought they should have had a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Tillman's makes a great challenge. It's not a penalty.
It's an absolutely outstanding challenge.
Obviously, they're going mad over it and stuff like that. And then there's other fouls that happen as well, like leading up to Villa's goal. He doesn't get the ball, so it is a free kick. And I think Vardy's obviously talking to the referee, and I think it's another player, a skip, I think it is, comes over, talking to a referee, and the referee books him. And I thought, finally, a referee that's actually going to book people, because another player's talking to a referee that's not the captain. Get him booked this season. It's in the rules.
I agree.
Get it booked. It'll soon fix the problem as long as all the refs are on the same wavelength. And that's all you want.
But this is the issue, though, isn't it? It's the consistency. Because even in the same referee in our game wasn't consistent with his decisions. So how do you expect different referees to be consistent when the same referee's getting the same decision to come to two different conclusions? It doesn't make any sense to me. And it did. I was absolutely fuming, and then I was sort of complaining in the group chat, and I'm going,
He kept going, ref.
ref here. And then I'm like, the ref's just made another howler. The ref's just made another howler. And then this twat puts in the group chat, boo-hoo. And I'm like, you fucking... I hope you lose all 38 games. Honestly, I hope you just get annihilated all season long. And I didn't message anything after you got beat, in my defence.
Yeah.
I was gonna, but I didn't. I'm like, no, I'm going to take the high ground. And I'm not going to abuse you for getting beaten again.
It's all
go.
right, because that's what we do. And I mean, it does make me feel a whole lot better, but that comment really wound you up. Because I didn't realise how much it wound you up.
You could have put, mate, I agree with you, and that would have wound me up at the time. I was that angry. It doesn't matter what you put in, it was going to annoy me at that point. I actually muted the group chat, by the way, at that point. I muted the group chat for 8 hours. I'm like, I'm done with it. I don't want to. I just put the phone to the side. I don't want to read anymore.
That's even better.
I'm fucking fuming. I was so angry. It's like the thing is, like I say, we lost the league by 1 point, and the ref
Them 2 points
threw
could
away
matter.
2 points. Now, if we lose the league by 1 point again this season,
It's not like
We
115
should be
are going to
champions.
lose many points, are they?
115 are never going to lose many points because they just get points fucking handed to them left, right, and centre.
So, I suppose I should talk about Southampton and how the season's gone.
Let's talk about Southampton.
So, Russell
How they
Martin...
doing?
First things first, I want you to press play.
Right, I'm going to press play on this, which is the Burnley Blackburn. Oh, Tim, you've actually got to the exact moment as well.
I know.
You're good, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good
So,
you are.
Southampton, I know you say it's all rubbish and it's all doom and gloom and stuff like that, but the thing is, we're not playing terrible football. We're doing okay stuff in the middle. It's just mistakes and the other side of things, not scoring. Very important fundamentals of football. So it's not not great.
Didn't you score your first league goal this week?
It's only like...
I finished watching the clip of
couple
Blackburn.
games in, so I'm okay with that. Bournemouth last season, they went a long run without winning a game at the start of the season, so I'm not worried at the moment. I'm not going to be Martin out.
You're not instantly going to get relegated just because you've lost your first two
No.
games. You do realise that Arsenal, not long ago, when Arteta took charge, lost our first 3 games in a row without scoring a goal.
Yeah.
You're one step ahead of where we were, and we
'Cause we
finished
scored a goal.
4th or 5th.
So I look at it and I go like this, and Russell Martin said, we got promoted last year, and some of these players deserve a chance to be there. I'm sorry, no, they don't. This is my rant. I'm sorry, you're either good enough or you're not, and he can't play his loyalty best 11, as he calls it. He needs to play his best 11 now. Ramsdale was superb in that game. He made some quality saves.
Of course he did. He's a
Glad
great keeper.
we've got him. And you know what? He looked quite comfortable on the ball when he was passing it as well.
His distribution's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be.
So I didn't see him make any mistakes. None of the goals were his fault.
He made one mistake. He went to play it to your right back, and he played it too far ahead of him, and it went straight out of play. But that was the
Okay
only
with
mistake.
that.
But again,
He made 2
I'm
mistakes.
fair in my judgments. I don't just sit here and slag Ryer off and then say
Yeah.
Ramsdale's the fucking king of all goalkeepers.
He made
Yeah.
2
He
mistakes.
He made a mistake.
Oh,
Two
we
mistakes.
joined Southampton to get relegated. There we go.
I wasn't going to go into that one.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's not a mistake. At least he's playing.
Yeah.
So I'll
'Cause he
go
knows
in
if
there.
he gets relegated, Southampton are going down to the Championship, but he's not.
Sugawara,
It's good at that.
good right back. Pleased with him. Plays on the left a
He
little
looks
bit as
decent,
well.
to be fair.
He was quite decent. You know, Kyle Walker-Peters, definitely Premiership level.
I would agree.
Now, Jack Stevens,
You said he wasn't even Championship standard.
I stick to it, and I've said it in other things. I say he's League One. I'm sorry, and he's captain. I'm sorry, he can't be captain. So,
But he is.
but he is.
We had that with Liam Cooper for 4 years. I feel your pain.
We
Yeah.
had that with Xhaka.
So, Jan Bednarak, now, yeah, he made a mistake with Jack Stevens for their goal because the two players come together. So it's kind of both their combined fault because they're not doing what he wants them to do. Taylor Harwood-Bellis needs some time, and I think he needs some quality next to him. I'm sorry, he's not looking so sharp at the moment. And
Is that because he's just gone into the Premier
Yeah.
League and he's used to the Championship?
Yeah, yeah.
Does he just need a bit of time? Just
I
to
think
settle,
he's
though?
just a bit of time. So,
Because he's a
so
good
I'm not going
player.
to slate him. Downs, I think he's going to do it. Aribo, I don't think he's good enough, but I think he can play as long as Smallbone ain't in the team. Because he's a mid-table Championship player at best. I'm sorry, he's playing him for loyalty, and yeah, he loves Southampton to bits, and I love him for that.
Did you hear that? That's somebody else that said my manager plays his mates. It's effective what you've just said.
Yeah.
I
I'm
bet
sorry,
you slagged
he's
off the way
not.
I did.
He's just not good enough. Diaz, I don't know yet. Time to tell. And then I can't
I
even.
mean, if
think.
he keeps acting the way he did against Newcastle, he's going to need to be shot.
Yeah. So then we come on to Adam Armstrong. Needs to be sold to a Championship side.
I
He
still
knows
quite like him just because he works so hard. And what else have you got? What have you got to replace him with?
Cameron Archer.
You'd rather Cameron Archer play?
I won't lie, he
Absolutely.
looked really good in the...
When he played in the
decent,
cup,
to be fair.
his turn and finishing, he was everything that we wanted Che Adams to be.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
He
yeah, I
tries
can get
the
behind
same
that.
thing, and his finishing was great. So for me, Cameron Archer should be starting up
I can
there.
get behind that.
I'm looking forward to Cornet being there. Samadozi needed to go out on loan, and it's a shame that his loan move to Rangers fell through because he's just not good enough for me on there. ABK, Bella Kotchup, came on and changed the game against Cardiff. He solidified the defence because we played Nathan Wood, one of the signings, and Ronnie Edwards. Ronnie Edwards was player of the season in League One, and it showed, and Nathan Wood was playing for Swansea last year. Both of them definitely not Premiership level, shouldn't play again this season. They needed to go out on loan, and I worry that there's too many. And when Russell Martin come out and says ABK was his 6th centre-back, it's like, no, he's not. He's actually probably the best centre-back we've got at the club. It looked like they were trying to sell him for money. If he doesn't leave, great. If he's not left, he needs to play. Sorry, he's got to play in that team.
Yeah.
Fernandez looked good in that game against Cardiff. Now, I'm not surprised that he didn't play so much because he's just played a little bit of a game on at the weekend, then he's played full 90 minutes. He's played minutes in the midweek, and then obviously to come on again. So maybe he couldn't start. But there's another player that came on in the cup game who looked superb. And he came on again in the last 8 minutes of the weekend. Adam Lallana. Now, if he can stay fit, if he can stay fit and play 70 minutes, he should be starting for Southampton. Because the way he was on the ball, he changed everything. Now, there's another player, and you wrote his name down because I said he's one to watch out for. Diblin.
Yeah.
Absolute fire, this guy.
Happy.
Now, I'll talk about the first goal in the cup. So he was, and what happened was, he was dribbling through, and he was being fouled by the Cardiff players. And he didn't go to ground at all. All he tried to do was stay on his feet. His shin pads are a bit questionable.
Are they them
tiny ones? And he's asking to get a kick in, but he stays on his feet. So whoever's taught him, so his parents and his youth team coaches, well done. I salute you because you've actually taught him ethics of football that you don't have to dive.
Just make sure he's got decent shin pads when he plays Brighton.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Depends who's there. So he needs to be playing for me. So ultimately, and I think Martin come out at the end and he said, if I could go back maybe in hindsight, I'd have a difference of personnel. So he's not going to change his system. And fair enough, the system works apart from when they make mistakes because we're not Man City. You know, we haven't got the quality that they have to play out the back to defeat constantly. Now,
I'm not sure about all this. Like every team in the fucking league playing out from the back, I think it's a bit silly.
I think you need to mix it up when you're not that good because you're going to make mistakes. And Brentford just penalised it.
Mate,
that was
City,
all three of their goals with that.
You're saying if you're not that good, City have got some of the best passing defenders in the country.
Ramsdale tried to mix it up. So ultimately, he just needs to decide what his best XI is. I want him to put his best team out. I don't want, Stevens playing because he's a great guy or, whatever. That doesn't win you a game of football.
No, it doesn't.
I want to see us compete, and I can see it there because we've got the possession. We've just got to score the goals, which, there were some good goals in that game. I don't know if you've sat back and watched the highlights and stuff. And James Bree with his 90th minute, what looked to be the winner, but it was because we scored two more after. What a goal. Volley from a guy that's, his third career goal, I think it was. What a goal. And it wasn't even the best goal of the game because I'm saying Cardiff's first goal was the best goal of the game. I messaged in the group, didn't I, Cardiff, and I applauded it. Colwell, he completely dumbfooted Lumley.
I was impressed that all four of the Cardiff fans turned up to a midweek game. That was
wow, it was empty, wasn't it?
Fuck me. It was literally like empty stand, group of people, empty stand, Southampton fans, empty stand, group of people, empty stand. It's fucking random.
Yeah, I think we took like the fifth most away fans, and it was only like 2,000, but it was some of the League Two sides or something that took like 3,000 more. So it's a bit of a trek getting to Cardiff, though.
But it was just, I couldn't believe how few Cardiff fans were there.
Right, I think what we're going to do just before we finish is we're just going to run through some of the results.
He hadn't even spoke about Leeds, so I think he should talk about.
Yeah, we had a really
Leeds
good
game a bit.
Carling Cup. We sat back, drank tea and ate biscuits, I think.
Well, you beat Hull 2-0.
Yes.
Joseph and Pirro.
Yes.
Scored your goals.
So Joseph is looking like our number 9 going forward. He really good. Striker's finish, typical poacher's goal sort of thing. Nothing really, just cut in, knocked it in. Pirro come on and he looked actually quite sharp for once. What's weird about Pirro is if you ever actually look at him, he looks like he's asleep. He literally is like, it's like he's like daydreaming his way through his life. But when he's on it, he's on it. When he's not, he's like a non-toe. He goes from being unplayable, like he did against Norwich in the semi-final of the playoffs, unplayable. And I even said to you, if he turns up to Wembley like that, we're going to smash Southampton. So what happens?
He went sleep.
He became
unpickable.
Yeah, unpickable. But he came off the bench. He looked really good. we controlled the game really well. There was a few shaky-ish moments, but I won't lie. We were the controlling team. We were the team that dominated. It was a very workman match. We went there, we did the job, and we won.
Nice.
That's what you want.
You know who didn't look happy though? Somerville.
I'm loving it.
when he came on in the 88th minute.
Instagram post that he got slated for?
Yes.
No.
So he put a very cryptic, I can't remember it word for word, but it's like saying like sometimes you have to wait for the finer things in life or something basically. And there's rumours that people close to him says he's not fucking happy. He has massive regrets about leaving Leeds. It's like tough. You chose.
Yeah, you made your bed.
And I'm loving the fact that all three of these players that have gone on to advance their careers. They have. You've took the step up. You're warming a bench though, mate.
Yeah,
because he's not.
Isn't it?
Because he probably isn't better than Kudos and Bowen.
He's not. And this is what I said about Rutter. Rutter seems to be playing right wing now. That seems to be his new position. Because, like I said to you, he is not better than Pedro. I would take Pedro over Rutter any day. But it seems like he's going to be playing on the right wing. Two times he's come on now, he's come on at the right wing. Archie Gray. What a great career choice that was.
Oh, I'm so annoyed that he went
But
to
it's just
Spurs.
like, there you go, his youth talent now wasted. Because he's gone to a big club who ruin careers. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Tottenham ruin careers. So, yeah.
I mean, they did really well today.
I mean, they said
Newcastle
somebody
scored
on the
all 3
radio
goals.
said that Tottenham are now just a business. They're not a football club anymore because they're more
Yeah, but that's what
interested.
Daniel Levy wants.
They're more interested in selling their NFL tickets to this new stadium and
That's what Daniel
and
Levy
Lady
wants.
Gaga concerts
Yeah,
and
that's
everything
exactly what they
else.
are. We've
And
known
they
that for a
say
while.
that now they just buy bang average players for lots of money.
So we're slightly over, but we will just quickly whip through the results of the weekend. So we've got Arsenal 1, Brighton 1, red card for Declan Rice and a referee that should never referee again. Brentford 3, Southampton 1. Good fight by Southampton to start with. I watched the game. I think you started really well. You started quite brightly. Ramsdale started quite brightly. And Brentford just sort of took over. They got the
They played the high press. They played the high press really well when we were going to play out from the back.
Yeah.
They tried to make us make a mistake, and we did.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
We've conceded
really.
4 goals, and
But
we've
see how you
made
get
4
on
mistakes.
over the coming weeks. Everton 2, Bournemouth 3. Tin Ribs. Do you want
Brilliant.
to take this one?
Oh, please. So, obviously, we know how much I love Everton.
To be fair, the Everton goals were decent goals.
They were.
They were
And
decent goals.
you know when you sort of like, I'm begging them to get relegated this season, especially after I have been an adamant pointer out of how their fans are scum.
You never have you?
And then there was that beautiful video of them all hurling
At the
abuse
train
at their players,
station.
which was beautiful.
Disgusting.
Because I know so many people who've literally gone, I've seen the video, I agree.
Absolutely disgusting.
Malpai was definitely not very happy, and
No.
he left not long after. So
Yeah. I would
Reckon that
I
had
would not
something
want
to
be.
do with it?
I would not want to be at a club where the fans are that toxic.
No, I wouldn't.
So I am
I
happy
wouldn't.
to see them going down. But when they started playing well, I was thinking, oh shit, here we go. And then they scored a goal. I was like, they are the better team here. Then they scored again. I thought, fucking hell.
They were doing well at that point.
And then with 5 minutes, they completely capitulated. And as that third goal went in, I was having a drink. It took me 5 minutes to clean up the mess because I spat that fucker all over my living room. It was hilarious. Watching Pickford go from big cheesy look at me fucking grin to I'm going to pull my shirt over my head was just absolutely
they
fantastic.
could have scored more.
Yeah.
In that 5 minutes, they could have
yeah,
scored
they
more.
could have scored a few.
It was beautiful.
Next game was Ipswich 1, Fulham 1. Ipswich yet again scoring first. They're hardly lying down in the Premier League this season, are they? They're doing
Should
quite
have
well.
saved it though. I think the keeper could have done
Possibly,
better.
but fair play to Ipswich. They're giving it a good go.
Yeah.
Leicester 1, Villa 2. Onana and Duran and then Buonanotte decided to pull one back for Leicester, but a bit too little too late. So I think everyone expected Villa to win that. Forest 1, Wolves 1. Chris Wood and Bellegarde in the first 12 minutes, and then absolutely piss all happened after that.
Apart from a
Apart
late
from a lot
goal
of yellow cards.
and a late goal that was disallowed for offside.
Yeah, don't count. West Ham 1, Man City 3. For me, Haaland, yet again, hat-trick against a very poor defence. And City even scored West Ham's goal because Diaz got the own goal. So, 4 goals to City and 3-1. I think everyone just predicted that result as well. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. Anyone that isn't a Tottenham fan would have predicted that win. Barnes and Isaac with a goal. And Newcastle even did Tottenham a favour in scoring their goal for them.
He ripped it into the back of a net.
It was decent
from
finish.
Close range.
Decent finish. Chelsea 1, Palace 1. Chelsea are not the team that scored 6 last week. A bit like half your players, really. Unplayable one week, shite the next. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to see what's going to go on with Chelsea this season.
Well, when you can put 4 teams out and still have players on the bench.
It's going to be very, very difficult for them, isn't it?
Palmer seems to be the only consistent in their whole team.
Because he's the best player, so he's not going to. He's undroppable.
But it's not even that. He seems to be the only one who can pull out that performance week in, week out.
And then we ended the weekend just as we were watching it with Liverpool 3, Man United 0.
Not really a surprise.
It's not, but United now have lost against Brighton, lost against Liverpool, and only beaten Fulham 1-0, and that was
lucky
late on.
Well,
and
lucky for them.
I would go with lucky.
Lucky for them, they play us next.
They do. Now, if United don't, if that's the game that you win, which to be honest, I can see it.
I can't.
Because United are shocking. I think they're going to struggle. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to call it there, lads, because we've gone into the 6 minutes now. So, we're sorry to keep you so long. And
more stuff to talk about.
Declan Rice, I would like to say that Declan Rice has come out and made a very heartfelt and long, meaningful apology about his red card. And I would just like to add that you've got fuck all to be sorry about.
Oh, so does he think it was a red card as well?
He basically said that by the letter of the law,
it
was a yellow card. Saka's come out and said by the letter of the law it was a yellow card, but not when the guy in the first half clears half the field and doesn't get booked for it. And Rice basically just moves it over a couple of blades of grass and gets booked and then sent off for it, which I think everyone agrees with them. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to save you from my bitch whinging much longer. These two, unfortunately, are still going to be here for a few minutes and they're going to have to fucking put up with it a bit longer.
We'll try to piss him off again.
Oh, God, I'm poking this bear.
Unfortunately, I can't really deny that because I'm still 16 stone and still built like a fucking bear. So we shall be back in your ear holes next week.